Warriors Thunder, all-time classic. The Warriors rolled into Oklahoma City with 53 wins and just 5 losses, already steamrolling the league. But this night wasn't just about wins. It turned into something way bigger. The Thunder had 2 stars still in their prime, and Golden State had a target on their back. What unfolded was part stats, part story, and all chaos. Curry dropped 12 threes, tying the all-time record. That final bomb, 38 feet out with 0.6 left in overtime. Just pure silence in the arena. He'd already rolled his ankle earlier and limped off, so when he came back and did that, people couldn't believe it. He also broke the single-season three-point record that night. And right before halftime, Draymond Green and Steve Kerr reportedly clashed in the locker room. Tension all around. Add in Mike Breen's double bang call, and you've got one of those rare moments that feels scripted. Thunder fans looked frozen. That shot gets replayed constantly. It changed how people saw Curry in crunch time, and it felt like a shift in power too. The old guard was fading, and Golden State looked inevitable. A regular season game that still echoes today. Kobe's 81. The Lakers were down big against Toronto, and it didn't look good at all. But then Kobe went volcanic. He dropped 81 points, the second highest mark in league history. And no, it wasn't just chucking. He hit 28 of 46 shots. Over 60%. From deep, 7 threes on 13 tries. He was nearly perfect at the line, hitting 18 of 20. That's just nasty efficiency. The wild part is that 55 of those points came in the second half. He put up 27 in the third and 28 in the fourth. The Raptors actually led by as much as 18 in the third, but Kobe erased it. He scored 23 of his final points in the last 9 minutes. And while he wasn't racking up assists, he added rebounds, steals, and a block. His plus 25 shows the game shifted when he was on the floor. The crowd was losing its mind. Fans were chanting before the buzzer even sounded. In a season where he led the league in scoring, this was the night that sealed his legend. It's not just a stat line, it's a moment fans still talk about. LeBron's banked 3, Cleveland was down 1, and it looked like Washington had it wrapped up. But with 0.3 seconds on the clock, LeBron pulled off something ridiculous. Kevin Love heaved a full court pass to the corner. LeBron caught it mid-spin, faded away, banked it in, and sent the game to overtime. The shot was leaning, off balance, and nearly out of bounds. It defied geometry. Before that, LeBron had missed a close look on the same possession. That 3 completely flipped the vibe. He ended with 32 points, 17 assists, and 7 rebounds. Love added 39, making all 11 free throws. Kyrie iced it in overtime with a go-ahead 3. And this wasn't some sleepy mid-season snoozer. The Wizards were rolling. Beal dropped 41, and that home crowd was on fire. The Cavs had 20 turnovers, but still shot over 50% from the field and deep. That shot doesn't just live in highlight reels because it went in. It lives there because it shouldn't have. Every frame of that banked 3 fuels the myth. Add in the travel debate, the buzzer timing, and LeBron fouling out in overtime, pure chaos, and it only made the ending better. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Wilt 100. On March 2nd, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points for the Philadelphia Warriors in a 169-147 win over the New York Knicks. The game was played in Hershey, Pennsylvania, at a neutral site with just over 4,000 fans. He hit 36 of 63 shots and made 28 of 32 free throws, despite being a career 50% shooter at the line. He also grabbed 25 rebounds. No other Warrior scored more than 17. The Knicks' top scorer had 39. Wilt scored 59 points in one half alone, including a record 37 shots attempted in that span. By the fourth quarter, the crowd and even the public announcer were calling out his running total. Philadelphia intentionally fouled late to get the ball back and feed him. The Knicks fouled back to slow him. There's no full video, only a surviving radio call of the final minutes. Joe Rucklick is credited with the assist on point 100. All of this, plus gaps in footage, has turned the feat into a living basketball myth rather than just another box score. MSG, Easter Miracle. The Knicks were trailing for most of the second half, down double digits at one point, and it looked like another home loss was incoming. But Carmelo Anthony had other plans. He tied it late in regulation with a clutch 3, then followed it up with the game winner in overtime, a step-back triple that gave New York a 1-point lead with just seconds left. That was it. No more scoring. Knicks won 100-99. Melo finished with 43 points, hitting over 50% of his shots. He also went 7 for 9 at the line. The Bulls actually grabbed 74 rebounds and still lost. They also coughed up 40 turnovers. Yes, 40 compared to just 18 by the Knicks. Derrick Rose dropped 29 for Chicago, but it wasn't enough. The game fell on Easter Sunday, and that timing helped give the win its nickname. It was loud, chaotic, emotional, the kind of game fans hold on to. That final 3 from Melo isn't just a shot. It's become a chapter in modern Knicks legend. Holiday timing, a comeback win, a rival opponent, and a buzzer crowd roar? Yeah, lore sealed. Christmas Day comeback. Cleveland was down 14 in the fourth, and the Warriors looked like they had it wrapped. But then Kyrie went wild, dropping 14 of Cleveland's last 25 points and capping it all off with a ridiculous fadeaway over Klay Thompson with 3.4 seconds left. That jumper gave the Cavs a 1-point lead, and it stuck. Golden State still had a shot, but Kevin Durant stumbled after some contact, and the final play fizzled out. The Cavs won 109-108. Durant dropped 36 and grabbed 15 boards. LeBron answered with 31 and 13. Kyrie finished with 25 points, 10 assists, 6 boards, and 7 steals. This wasn't just another holiday game, it was a rematch of the previous finals. The crowd was electric, the stage was massive, and both teams knew what was at stake. Golden State led most of the second half, but Cleveland's late burst flipped everything. The drama, the star power, the last-second dagger, this one had it all. And the fact it happened on Christmas? Yeah, no wonder fans still call it one of the greatest holiday games ever. Westbrook's buzzer. The Nuggets were clinging to a 2-point lead with seconds left, desperate to keep their playoff hopes alive. But Russell Westbrook had already tied Oscar Robertson's triple-double record earlier that week, and now he was about to break it. With the clock winding down, he grabbed the inbounds pass, took 3 quick dribbles, and pulled up from 36 feet. The shot dropped at the buzzer. Game over. Thunder won 100. 6-105. Westbrook didn't just hit the dagger. He finished with 50 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists. That made it triple-double number 42 on the season, breaking a record many thought would never fall. Denver, they were eliminated from playoff contention on the spot. A 50-point triple-double capped with a game winner that ended another team's season. That's basketball theater. The shot wasn't even close to the line. It was way out there. The kind of range that makes people laugh in disbelief. That image. Westbrook rising, the crowd exploding. Nuggets players slump. It's cemented in league memory. It wasn't just a win. It was a record-breaking exclamation point fired from another zip code. Linsanity versus Lakers. With Melo and stat out, Jeremy Lin took the floor at Madison Square Garden, carrying the Knicks offense, and then lit it on fire. He dropped 38 points and 7 assists on the Lakers, shooting 13 of 23 from the field and 10 of 13 from the line. Kobe Bryant scored 34, but Lin outshined him on both ends. The Knicks won 92-85, and Lin's performance wasn't just efficient, it was electric. Over half his team's points came from him, either by bucket or assist. This wasn't a fluke or a hot quarter. Lin ran the show all night. The Garden crowd erupted every time he touched the ball. For fans riding the Linsanity wave, this was the moment that turned belief into certainty. He was the underdog, the backup, the guy no one scouted. And suddenly, he was taking it to an all-time great in prime time. This wasn't a role player getting hot. It was a player taking over a game with full responsibility and zero excuses against a playoff caliber opponent on national TV. No wonder this night still echoes like it happened yesterday. Klay's 37-point quarter. On January 23, 2015, Klay Thompson erupted for 37 points in the third quarter against Sacramento. That's not a typo. He made 13 shots in a row. 9 of them were threes. He didn't miss once. The Warriors put up 41 points that quarter. Klay had 37 of them. At one point, he outscored the Kings, 18-3 by himself in just over 3 minutes. And once the crowd realized what was happening, everything shifted. Teammates started feeding him on purpose. It wasn't even subtle. Everyone on the court knew who the ball was going to, and it didn't matter. Catch and shoot, pull-ups, deep bombs. He hit them all. He finished with 52 total. But it's that quarter that turned the game into legend. The previous record for a quarter was 33. Klay dropped 37 and broke the record for most threes in a quarter too. And still, it's the fact he didn't miss a single shot that sticks. That's the kind of zone you don't practice for. You just catch fire and stay there. It's the benchmark every hot streak gets compared to now. Rose's 50. On Halloween night in 2018, Derrick Rose dropped 50 points against the Jazz in a 128-125 Timberwolves win. It was the only 50-point game of his career, and he did it shooting 19 of 31 from the field, 4 of 7 from deep, and 8 of 11 at the line. He also added 6 assists, 4 rebounds, a block, and a steal, playing 41 minutes in a tight 8 emotional battle. It wasn't just volume, he was surgical. Rose scored 15 in the fourth quarter and sealed the win with a block on the final defensive possession. This wasn't a feel-good sideshow. It was a high-stakes, end-to-end takeover by a player who'd been through years of injuries and doubts. Earlier that day, he told his teammates he was going for 50. Then he went out and did it. After the buzzer, he broke down. The crowd was chanting. His teammates mobbed him. The entire arena felt it. He didn't just prove something to the league, he proved it to himself. That game wasn't a comeback story, it was a confirmation. Derrick Rose never left. He just had to fight his way back. McGrady's 13-35. On December 9th, 2004, the Rockets were trailing by 8 with just over 30 seconds left. The Spurs looked set to close it out. Then Tracy McGrady went nuclear. He drilled a 3, then another. One of them was a 4-point play. Suddenly, the deficit was 1. The Spurs couldn't stop it. McGrady kept catching, rising, and launching. He hit 4 threes in total, including the game winner with about 2 seconds left. The Rockets won 81-80. The arena went from silence to chaos in half a minute. McGrady finished with 33 points, but those last 13 are the only ones anyone remembers. No timeouts, no setup. Just one player hijacking the entire end of a game. It wasn't just scoring, it was cold-blooded efficiency under maximum pressure. That kind of late-game swing doesn't happen in video games, let alone real life. There are comebacks, and then there's McGrady's 35 seconds of destruction. It's not just part of his legacy, it's one of the most replayed endings in NBA history. It's the moment every wild finish gets compared to now. Kobe versus Jamison. On December 6, 2000, Oracle Arena saw something wild. Both Kobe Bryant and Antawn Jamison dropped 51 points in the same game. Jamison's Warriors won it in overtime, 125-122. For Kobe, it was his first ever 50-point game. He went 18 of 35 from the field and nailed all 13 free throws. He added 7 rebounds and 8 assists, but also had 8 turnovers. Jamison, he was scorching, 21 of 29 shooting, plus 13 boards. Both players kept trading buckets all night. It wasn't just highlights, it was a duel with real stakes. The game went down to the wire and into overtime, and neither guy cooled off. Jamison was more efficient, Kobe more relentless. It's one of the rare times in league history where both stars scored 50 in the same game. That back and forth gave the whole night a heavyweight feel. Kobe was just 22, still rising. Jamison wasn't just keeping up, he outlasted him. Years later, they'd become teammates. But this night, it was war, and both walked off the floor, knowing exactly what the other was made of. King 60. On Christmas Day, 1984, Bernard King lit up Madison Square Garden with 60 points against the Nets. He went 19 of 30 from the field and 22 of 26 from the line. That's 63% shooting and a parade of free throws. He dropped 40 by halftime. The game was nationally televised, and even though the Knicks lost 120-114, King owned every second. No other player has scored more on Christmas. Not LeBron, not Kobe, not anyone. It's still the single game holiday record, and it wasn't an empty stat line. He attacked from everywhere, through contact, off movement, inside and mid-range. He carried a broken roster in a losing season on a marquee day and nearly pulled off the win himself. The loss only makes it more legendary. It was dominance, not luck. Every bucket looked earned, not handed. The NBA still replays this game every December. For Knicks fans, it's gospel. For scorers, it's a measuring stick. And for the league, it's the moment Christmas basketball became something bigger than just December games. King gave the Garden a gift. The league's still unwrapping it decades later. 14 threes. Klay Thompson lit up Chicago with a shooting clinic that's still untouched. He dropped 52 points in just 27 minutes, hitting 14 threes on 24 attempts. That's nearly 60% from deep. And he wasn't just bombing, he was straight up locked in. The most absurd part, he did it without a single assist. 0. He caught, fired, and destroyed. It was like the ball had a GPS for the net. This wasn't some random outburst either. He broke Steph Curry's old record of 13 threes, and he did it while sharing the court with him. That adds layers. The Splash Brothers weren't competing. They were leveling each other up. Klay tied the record for most threes in a half with 10, and his team set a record too. 17 threes in the first half alone. And this was on the road, in Chicago, not some comfy home stretch. The Warriors crushed the Bulls 149-124. People still bring this game up when debating all-time shooters, and for good reason. Even with the league obsessed with threes now, 14 still stands. Nobody's topped it. 20-20-20. Russell Westbrook tore through the Lakers with a box score so rare, only Wilt Chamberlain had done it before. He finished with 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 21 assists. A triple-double on turbo mode. The Thunder won that night, 119-103. But honestly, the final score felt like background noise. This wasn't some stat padding stunt. Westbrook dominated every part of the game. Guards don't usually pull down 20 rebounds, but Westbrook isn't wired like most guards. He was everywhere. It was a flex of pure effort, awareness, and control. And then there's the emotional layer. He dedicated the game to Nipsey Hussle, who'd passed just days earlier. After sealing the line, Westbrook shouted, "That's for Nipsey." It wasn't just about stats. It meant something. He became only the second player in history to pull off a 20-20-20 game. And since then, only Nikola Jokic has added his name to that club. This performance is one of those legacy markers, the kind that gets replayed whenever people ask how much one guy can do in one night. Westbrook answered that loud, lefty bird. This wasn't some random fluke where Larry Bird casually dropped a few lefty layups. On February 14th, 1986, against Portland, Bird didn't just play. He made a spectacle out of it. He reportedly told people before the game that he was going to shoot with his left hand just because he felt like it. And then he actually did it. Around 10 of his 21 made field goals came from that non-dominant hand. That's not showboating. That's wild. He still ended up with 47 points, 14 boards, and 11 assists. That's a triple-double on a night where he basically played a mini game of can I still cook you with my offhand? And yeah, he switched hands during the game, but that's not the point. The point is, he pulled it off while barely using his dominant side. The trash talk behind it? Legendary. It wasn't about disrespect. It was about proving a point. He could outplay pros while giving himself a handicap. That game turned into one of those moments that people still talk about. Not because of stats, but because of how ridiculous the whole thing was. It added serious flair to his already ridiculous legacy. Bubble Suns. Game 8 wasn't just the last game, it was the climax. Phoenix took down the Clippers, 117-115 in the bubble, with Devin Booker bearing a turnaround jumper at the buzzer. That shot over Paul George with Kawhi Leonard lunging by wasn't a casual look. It was balance, patience, and shot making, all wrapped into one moment. He dropped 35 points on 13 of 25 shooting, and the Suns drilled 17 threes as a team. What makes this one stick is that it was the final stamp on a perfect run. 8-0. No fans, no noise, just basketball. The Clippers were real contenders, and Phoenix outlasted them. Fewer turnovers, smart ball movement. Even while getting edged out on the boards, they kept control. That last shot wasn't just pretty, it was pressure-proof. Booker pump faked Kawhi, spun, and let it go right over George's outstretched arm. Pure clock zero drama. The Suns didn't even make the playoffs, but this game made noise. It felt like a turning point. That shot gave Phoenix something real, belief. It became proof. The franchise went from invisible to impossible to ignore. All in 8 games. Luka's 73. On January 26, 2024, Luka didn't just light up the Hawks. He made history. 73 points, the highest scoring game in Mavericks history. He shot 25 of 33 from the field, hit 8 threes, and nailed 15 out of 16 free throws. That's 91% true shooting. Efficiency like that at this volume, it doesn't happen, ever. He had 41 in the first half alone, already breaking a franchise record before halftime. And it wasn't garbage time. Dallas needed every bucket. The final score was 148-143. Atlanta kept the pressure up, but Luka just kept answering. He also grabbed 10 rebounds, dished 7 assists, and even got a steal, because sure, why not? What sets this game apart isn't just the number, it's how clean he got there. Wilt and Kobe had volume, Luka had precision. He only took 33 shots to get 73 points. He became the 4th player ever to hit that mark, but the first to do it like this. Every possession looked like he was solving a puzzle and then setting it on fire. Skiles, 30 assists. On December 30th, 1990, Skiles dropped 30 dimes in a single game. That's the most assists in NBA history. Nobody has touched that number since. The Magic crushed the Nuggets, 155-116. And Skiles didn't just pass, he orchestrated. He played 44 minutes, scored 22, grabbed 6 rebounds, and had just 4 turnovers. What made it unreal wasn't just the stat, it was how clean he did it. 30 assists, 4 turnovers. That ratio is ridiculous. And it's not like he was padding stats in some meaningless blowout. He had 14 assists by halftime, 10 more in the third, and 6 in the fourth. As the number climbed, the crowd and his teammates knew what was happening. The last few possessions had real anticipation. 6 Magic players scored in double figures. Skiles wasn't forcing anything. He was just unlocking the whole floor. The pace was wild, the Nuggets defense was cooked, and everything clicked. He broke the previous record of 29, and that game still defines his legacy. Over 30 years later, no one's come close. Not Stockton, not Magic. It's the assist equivalent of a 70-point game. Carter Williams' debut. Michael Carter Williams showed up on October 30th, 2013, and gave the defending champs a reality check. In his very first NBA game, he dropped 22 points, 12 assists, 7 boards, and 9 steals against the Miami Heat. Yeah, 9 steals. That's still the most ever by a rookie in a debut game. It started fast. He got a steal and dunked for his first bucket, dished his first assist seconds later, then nailed a 3. By halftime, he had 10 points, 7 assists, and 5 steals. Not bad for a guy playing his first NBA minutes against a team with LeBron James, Wade, and Chris Bosh. What made it wild was the balance. He wasn't just scoring, he was disrupting passing lanes, setting up teammates, crashing the glass, and hitting clutch free throws late. Those last 3 points in the final 30 seconds sealed the Sixers' win. The debut set the tone. He didn't look like a rookie, and the performance earned him Rookie of the Year. Since then, every hot debut gets measured against that night. The man did everything and made sure nobody forgot his name. Love's 31 and 31. On November 12, 2010, Kevin Love didn't just have a great game. He made NBA history. 31 points, 31 rebounds. The first 30 and 30 performance the league had seen in nearly 3 decades. The Timberwolves beat the Knicks 112-103. And Love broke the franchise record for rebounds in a single game. At halftime, he only had 6 points and 9 boards. Then the switch flipped. He pulled down 15 rebounds in the third quarter alone and told Michael Beasley mid-game, "I'm going for 30. He meant rebounds, not points. Spoiler, he got both. That second half takeover turned a decent night into a legendary one. The last guy to do this before Love, Moses Malone. That's the tier he hit with that performance. Love's game wasn't some padding session. It came in a win, with dominance on both ends. 31 boards is his career high, and the story's wild because it didn't look historic until it suddenly was. Jennings, 55. On November 14, 2009, Brandon Jennings dropped 55 points on the Warriors, just his 7th NBA game. He was 20 years old and didn't score a single point in the first quarter. Then the floodgates opened. By the end of the third, he'd hit 21 shots on 34 attempts, including 7 of 8 from deep. And no, he didn't play the fourth. He did all that damage in 3 quarters. His performance broke the Bucks' rookie scoring record, previously held by Kareem. Imagine doing that before your 21st birthday. He added 5 rebounds and 5 assists, just to keep things balanced. Milwaukee needed every bit of it too. They beat Golden State 129-125. The craziest part, nobody saw it coming. He wasn't the number 1 pick, and this game flipped his whole narrative overnight. It wasn't just the points, it was the pace, the shot selection, the rhythm. He got hot and never cooled off. Since then, Jennings' name always pops up in rookie scoring lists. The youngest ever to hit 55, no fluke, just 3 quarters of unfiltered offense. Boogie, unejected. On December 20th, 2016, DeMarcus Cousins dropped 55 on the Blazers, but what made the night legendary wasn't just the scoring, it was the chaos. Late in the game, Cousins got hit with a second technical foul after his mouthpiece flew toward the Portland bench. That should have meant ejection, and it did. Briefly, he sprinted off to the locker room, then everything flipped. The refs huddled. After talking it out, they decided the mouthpiece toss wasn't intentional, just a reaction, not a launch, so they took the tech back. That's right, rescinded it. They called him back from the tunnel, and Boogie was back in. He even shot the free throw tied to the tech that never was. This isn't something you see. Ejections are usually permanent, but this one, they unejected him. That word barely even exists. Boogie called it ridiculous postgame, and fans have argued ever since. Some say he launched it, some say it slipped. The footage doesn't settle it either. Legendary Luka. On December 27, 2022, Luka put together a stat line that doesn't sound real. 60 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists, add 2 steals, 1 block, and 47 minutes on the floor. Oh, and it came with a comeback that looked impossible. The Mavericks were down 9 with under 35 seconds left. Game over, right? Luka didn't agree. After a late scramble, he intentionally missed a free throw, grabbed the rebound, and somehow tipped in the shot to tie it with the 1 second left. Overtime followed. Dallas finished it off, winning 126-121. The numbers alone would have made it historic. No one had ever posted a 60, 20, 10 triple-double before, ever. He tied the highest scoring triple-double in league history and broke the Mavericks franchise scoring record in the process. But it wasn't just a stat fest. It was heart, timing, and complete control. People still argue about Luka's all-time rank, but this game is untouchable. The Knicks had no answer, and even the comeback looked scripted. It's not just a Luka highlight, it's a landmark NBA moment, a real-time myth being written as it happened. Warriors 24 no more. On December 12th, 2015, the Milwaukee Bucks snapped Golden State's record, 24-0 start. The Warriors had steamrolled everyone up to that point, but Milwaukee wasn't interested in being part of the win column. They took it 108-95 and made sure everyone knew it wasn't luck. Greg Monroe led the way with 28 points, 11 boards, and 5 assists. Michael Carter-Williams came off the bench with 17, and Giannis quietly dropped a triple-double with 11, 12, and 10. The Warriors, cold from deep, 6 of 26. Klay was off. Steph still scored 28, but Milwaukee's defense jammed their rhythm all night. The Bucks were 10 and 15 entering the game. Not contenders, but they hit Golden State with pressure, timely buckets, and a refusal to blink. The Warriors had played 7 straight on the road, and fatigue was real. But this wasn't a fluke. Milwaukee closed hard, with Monroe sealing it with an and one, and Carter-Williams capping it off with a late dunk. This wasn't just a win. It was a reminder that even historic teams bleed. The streak was over, and the league finally exhaled. Jordan's 69. On March 28, 1990, Michael Jordan went into Cleveland and delivered the most ridiculous stat line of his career. 69 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and a block. He played 50 minutes, shot 23 of 37, and hit 21 of 23 free throws. That's not volume for the sake of it. That's surgical destruction. The Bulls beat the Cavaliers 117 to 113 in overtime. Jordan scored 16 in the first, 15 in the second, 20 in the third, 10 in the fourth, and 8 more in overtime. It was balanced, relentless, and efficient. This wasn't a blowout. Cleveland kept it close, but Jordan just kept taking over. He said afterward that he was fueled by anger, fired up by a crowd that cheered when he got hit hard earlier that season. So he gave them a show they wouldn't forget. It wasn't just points. It was a takeover, a complete performance on the road against a tough team in extended minutes. That night still stands as his career high. When people bring up epic scoring games, Jordan's 69 is always in the conversation, and it should be. Kobe outscored Dallas. On December 20th, 2005, Kobe Bryant outscored the entire Mavericks team through 3 quarters. He had 62. Dallas had 61. He sat out the 4th. Game over. This wasn't against some lottery team. The Mavericks were a 60-win squad that made the finals that same season. Didn't matter. Kobe shot 18 of 31, hit 22 of 25 free throws, and made 4 threes. He didn't chuck. He hunted. Mid-range, drives, contact. It was methodical violence. Nobody else on the Lakers scored 10, just him. He torched every defender they threw at him. No trap work. No switch slowed him. By the end of the third, Staples Center was losing its mind. Lakers staff even asked if he wanted to check back in for the 4th. Kobe declined, said he'd have another night like that. He did, later that season with 81. But this was the warning shot. It's the only known case where a player outscored an entire team through 3. That's not just domination, that's math breaking. And it happened in just 33 minutes. Efficient, ruthless, iconic. Mitchell, 71. On January 2nd, 2023, Donovan Mitchell detonated for 71 points, 8 rebounds, and 11 assists in an overtime win against the Bulls. He shot 22 of 34, nailed 7 threes, and knocked down 20 free throws. The Cavaliers won 145 to 134, but only after rallying from a 21-point deficit. At halftime, Mitchell had just 16 points. Then he unloaded, 24 in the third, a relentless push in the 4th, and 13 more in overtime. He even forced OT by intentionally missing a free throw, grabbing his own rebound, and tying the game with a putback. It was pure chaos and control at once. He became the first player ever to score 70 or more and drop 10 the same game, and he did it efficiently, nearly 79% true shooting. He created or scored 99 total points. That's franchise record stuff in historic league territory. Only 7 players in NBA history have hit 70. Mitchell's the newest name, and he didn't just get buckets. He orchestrated a comeback. That game wasn't just about scoring. It was about refusing to lose and doing it with style. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.